Next, we have the Black Blossom herself. Michi Hadaka, also known as the Black Blossom, mysteriously moved from Hawaii to the mainland. Michi's life took a fantastical turn when a mysterious portal bestowed upon her a remarkable suit made of liquid metal. With powers akin to a fusion of Venom and Ironman, she fearlessly patrols the city streets, protecting its citizens from criminals. Despite her novice status in the world of superheroes, Michi approaches her newfound responsibility with an infectious sense of lightheartedness and humor, always quick with a witty quip even in the face of danger. Michi embarks on her heroic journey driven by a simple yet powerful belief that doing good is reason enough to fight, and she stands as a beacon of justice and joy in Scott City. Michi is my second favorite character of the comics that we have covered on the channel for the same reason that Evan David is my favorite author and I am his self-proclaimed #1 fan. Mainly because the writing style that Evan has taken with her, especially with her character development from just finding the suit to understanding the larger than life aspects about her suit, that it was actually from a extraterrestrial piece of equipment, and then the way how the suit has been incorporated into the Black Blossom stories, especially coming into issues 4, 5, and 6. I think issue 4 and 5 are two of my favorite comic issues that we have covered on the channel thus far. And issues 5 and 6, I believe, are the best appearances of what Michi can do with a suit, as well as in issue 1. It is as the power card for her description that was posted on the Black Blossom Facebook page states. It's a mix of Venom and Iron Man, which, to what I understand of it, it is called the Omni Suit, and it could basically do anything that Michi wills it to. And issues 1, 5, and 6 is where we see the actual true potential of the suit being utilized. In issue 5, I think issue 5 was the issue where she had the battle against Monarch, where she was really beginning her whole worldview was spun on top of its head when she saw an angel emerge out of a portal and fried the man who kidnapped her to take her suit away. It was, I don't want to go to like re-review the issues that we already reviewed on the channel. You can definitely check it out on your own time, and be sure to grab your own copy of those comics, as well as being sure to support Evan David via his various means, which he has stated that Patreon is his preferred method of support. Be sure to check out the stories. It is definitely 100% worth the read, especially the annual issue 1, which is my favorite issue regarding Michi herself, which is her basically her coming to Christ issue, especially with all the angle, especially with just how this story culminated into that annual issue. Because this series is one of the first ones. I think a lot of Evan Davis writes and style, I see it reflected in Urg, and I think Urg came out before Black Blossom. I can't speak on that. You know what? Never mind that. I can't speak on that. I don't know which one came out first. But the perspective of in these Christian themed stories, rather than the story like the Remnant, most of the characters in the Remnant are Christian through and through. So most of the stories start off with like you knowing that they are a Christian. I think Calvary Academy, well, no, I shouldn't say just Evan David, because I think I believe Alfred wrote it from the perspective of an unbeliever becoming a believer, but the execution of that was, as I said, a bit shaky in my opinion. Like, grew to love it by the end of it, but the first couple issues was a bit like they kidnapped him and gave him like implanted a chip behind his brain. The apostles of Jesus kidnapped a man in the 20th century and put a chip behind his brain so that he will know the Bible and stuff and be the chosen one. Like, that's why they found, like, at least that's the connotation of the story. So there's that with Alfred. What in the Remnant, is there anyone else like? I don't think so. Most of the characters in Remnant before joining, well, I mean, I know the Remnant says that they aren't not explicitly Christian. The members of the remnant, not all members of the remnant, are not explicitly Christians. They're just fellow folks who want to fight the good fight, but majority of the mainline folks who fight against the Antichrist are Christian throughout. But the Black Blossom was the first book on the channel, the first series on the channel where the main character wasn't a Christian for majority, like most of the books, but started to come into faith with all the supernatural stuff that were happening. I mean, she literally got kidnapped by this mesotheist, atheist turned mesotheist, that doing his research to disprove God discovered angels and extraterrestrial beings, and decided to concoct a plan on how he was going to get to heaven, and needed to use her suit, which was the Omni tool, which was from one of those extraterrestrial device created by those extraterrestrial beings, and that bonded with Michi, and he needed her to open the portal to heaven, and she accidentally opened the portal to heaven, thinking that all of this was nonsense, only for the guy who kidnapped, only for the villain who kidnapped her to get burned to a crisp right in front of her eyes by the angel that emerged out of the portal to heaven. That was, I thought that issue is one of my favorite, because it's like it dismantled every single preconceived notion and expectation I had of what Christian fiction comics, what the comics and the that I cover would be about. It's like, you usually in like Christian stories, you would believe like, all right, most likely the villain would have like a coming to Christ moment. No, dude, he has not appeared in the story since, and I don't think he would ever appear in the story again. He just got burnt to a crisp. He got warned. He was like, I am not going to obey, and he got turned into a crisp. Like, that is some serious Old Testament angel kind of actions there. You don't see that in most Christian stories nowadays, in my opinion. At least from what I have covered. That's the only time I saw that. And from seeing that, Michi went on to have nightmares retelling the event, and the only thing that made sense to her, even though she was an atheist, is like, I have to go check in on church and find out like what in the world I just witnessed. I mean, it's something. Let me just go and see. And from that, she had her coming to faith moment, because the exact same thing that the angel told her that night is the same thing that the pastor was preaching when she decided to go to church this Sunday. And from that, she had a coming to Christ moment. And for me, that is one of, I think Blockbuster 5 issue 1 is still in my top 5 comics that I have covered. I think it's number 3 or number 2. No, it is number 2. It is number 2. And that's why Michi is my second favorite character in all of the Christian comics that we have covered. Mainly because of the writing surrounding the stories by Evan David has just been, it's been a lot of fun to read, and I highly recommend you check out the 7 issues of the Black Blossom that we have covered, and he currently has up to issue 9. I think 7 to 8 are not colored, but they are available on the Starcross Comics website to check out as well.